Yes, for you see, Phoenix, it was I that was brought in by a publisher.
Von Carmen, no! You're supposed to be dead like twice over!
As for you see, I have been brought back from the dead for one night only. And the Ace Attorney Investigations Collection is now available. Thank you, Capcom, for kindly sponsoring this broadcast. The Ace Attorney Investigations Collection is now available, and you may find a link in the description below. Click it, if you dare. This is a remastered collection of the 2 Ace Attorney investigation games, the second of which never actually released in the West. That is, as the youth of today say, pretty skibbity.
Von Carmen, no, you can't just use slang like that! Episode 1, Turnabout Visitor. Start from this episode. Not every day I get to do an ad read as Manfred Von Karma, so give this to me, chat. Von Sponsor, no! March 14th, 1:16 a.m. To make sure the defendant is found guilty. What other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough. But a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. Is that- wait, that's not him, is it? No, I think he's shooting someone. Okay, just a day in the life for Phoenix Wright characters and Ace Attorney. I thought that was him for a moment. Before I forget, Merry Christmas. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. March 14, 2:05 a.m. Prosecutor's building, 12th floor hallway. You know, you think after a certain point, enough people have been, like, murdered in the court of laws that occupy the Ace Attorney universe that, like, they'd just close it down. Like, maybe the law just isn't worth it. It's hard to believe I've been away from my office for, a whole 2 years, actually. I think it's been a while since we played. The door is unlocked. What's it smell? It's very familiar. Blood! How many people have died in Edgewood's office? I feel like there was at least one other murder that took place here. Or like some kind of crime that was committed. What the? What's the meaning of this? Freeze. Oh no, it's not Gumshoe, it's a different guy. Identify yourself. Shut up. Huh. You've got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. But that was just unnecessary. Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. Oh, he's just gonna walk away. Okay. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home, after a month abroad, I will be thrust into a multitude of cases, and some very frantic and busy days. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Oh, this is forensics, actually. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir. Ah! Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. This is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with the local precinct that earns a very low salary. Look! Look what they did to your office. It's totally trash. I'll say. The culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. Edgeworth, there's a guy literally dead behind you, okay? Like, having to get the Dyson out is the least of your concerns. No one gets away with trekking mud into my office. Again, a man is dead. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. Why, of all places, did the murder occur in my office? Is it really coincidence that the murder took place in my office? I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really. Especially because of this. Key to your office? Security reasons. This office's door has a lock built into it. What do you mean, sir? Well, it's a simple mechanism to stop intruders entering my premises without prior notice. That's not important right now, Gumshoe. If you think about it clearly and use logic, it should become clear to you. I find the connection between two pieces of information. Connecting them New information is born. That is the end result of using logic. My God, I can't believe the Ace Attorney franchise invented logic. So how do you use it? Poor Gumshoe. I could hear his salary being cut. First, I recall the information we've gathered with left bumper, and then I connect them together with Y. That might not mean anything to you, Gumshoe, but to you at home, gentle wink. Let me enter my mind palace, Gumshoe. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks, which means it would be very hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as mere coincidence. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir. Begin investigation. We're so back. Look at this. Gotta get to move about in the world. Like, this in itself is new. We couldn't do this before. Yeah, I mean, I should probably look at the gun that's on the ground. What have we here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. I mean, they kind of just dropped it on the ground. I was issued the exact same model, I think. Detective. I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by this precinct's detectives. Okay, that's important information. So it's gotta be someone on the inside. Oh, my chessboard is all over the floor. You even knocked over your chess set, sir. I had it all set up, ready for when you got back. I figured we could play a few games. I had no idea you were interested in chess. I'm actually pretty good at checkers, so I thought I'd give chess a try. In that case, I suppose I can set some time aside after we solve this case. But right now, there's a dead man on the ground. Let's see. What do we have here? Hey, I think I've seen one of these before. Yeah, Gumshoe, that's a wallet. I know you're not familiar with the concept of having financial security, but these are quite common in the day-to-day world. Oh no, it's a police badge, detective. Okay, sorry. Mr. Buddy Fate. Look at this goober. Your files are all over the floor, sir. He probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. There was a struggle. It's been a while since I've sat at this desk. Oh, how I've missed you. It's so tidy it looks newer than when I first bought it. Oh yeah, the thing's so polished it makes bearers jealous. Don't tell me you had nowhere to work the entire time I was away, detective. My job was to protect your office, sir. He did such a good job protecting it that a murder occurred in it. Oh no. There goes his salary. Is this yet another batch of fresh flowers? Ones that come with a card attached every month, like clockwork for you. Yep. Speaking of that, let's see what's on the card this month, sir. All will be resolved. Wendy. Wendy. Isn't that the name of that old lady with the whiny voice that's stuck? Oh, wait, was that Old Bag? I think I remember Old Bag.
Why doesn't anyone like my character?
Wendy, no. Here's our information. The prosecutor's badge. Proof of my profession. However, I prefer to keep it in my pocket. Oh, this might be important later. Okay, so victim was a detective, and the revolver used belonged to a detective. Connect. Logic activate. The revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could it have belonged to a recently departed?
Mr. Edwards, sir. The guy's wearing a gun holster.
So it appears that a killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Can we assume that this gun is the murder weapon? It was issued to the victim. Oh God, okay. We had this, like, I think in like Rise from the Ashes? It was like the bonus case in like game 1. We haven't seen this mechanic in a while. It looks like only one round was fired from this.
Wow, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot after wrestling the gun from him.
Okay, but wait, there's one shot there that seems to have killed someone, but then there's also a bullet that was fired at the portrait of my suit on the wall. Jim!
Why, oh why? How could this happen to a guy like you?
Are you alright?
Don't touch me! Leave me alone! Just let me be!
Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. Enter that prosecutor.
Why, yes, I am. I'm Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime busting.
I'm Miles Edgeworth, and unlike you, I am also a prosecutor. I have a badge in my pocket that proves it.
So, you're Miles Edgeworth. I guess this is your office.
Yes, that is correct.
And it was you! You're the one who killed Jim!
Okay, so he's very clearly trying to frame us. I mean, I think we know it's him because we didn't have a cheeky cutscene at the start of this case showing him encountering the guy. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? But the only one who could get in there was me. Ho, 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 ho. Wait, that means... Oh, Nelly, what have I done?
I've heard all the rumors about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know? Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal?
Oh, I don't know about this Edgeworth. I think he's gonna get something incriminating there. Don't give your fingerprints. A pleasure to work with you.
I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there.
Sir.
I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewells to my partner, Jim. I want to record a little TikTok to pay homage with his passing. Make sure his followers are informed that his lifeless corpse is on the office floor.
Okay, but I can investigate here now. Ah, your jacket, sir. What's it doing on the floor? It must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing around. The killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well. They dared to shoot the ultra-special jacket that you made your prosecutorial debut in. Well, if they had shot through it, it would have been a disaster. I don't dare to think about what would have happened if my jacket got shot. I might have had to check in with dear old Dad, and
believe me, he would have been most upset to see the damage.
I take it you haven't noticed yet, Detective. There's a giant contradiction right here in front of us. I say contradiction. He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. My ex-boyfriend. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. My God. Gumshoe. 2 shots. We have 2 recorded shots, but only 1 bullet spent. That surely means that this badge proves that I'm a prosecutor. This is clearly where the contradiction lies, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. It'd be nice if you just admit when you're wrong. Okay, I gotta get it in at least once. Okay, present. This bullet hole is the contradiction. What do you mean, sir? It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true, too. Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Ah, that. It's a secret safe where I keep my finances. You wouldn't be familiar with that concept, Gumshoe.
Oh, shoo! Shoo! Talk about Dusty.
I suppose this is what's happened when I'm not here to dust it once in a while.
I had no idea there was a safe here. I would have kept it clean for you, sir. When did you put this thing in?
It wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one.
Really? I had no idea.
Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence.
What's inside, Mr. Edgeworth?
Right now, nothing. We only use them to store especially important evidence when a trial is in session.
That's it? Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams.
It looks like this was cleaned.
This is odd. You've had some, sir.
This keypad. I find it to be a bit too clean.
Ah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, not on the keypad itself.
You there, the forensic scientist. Yes, sir. Would you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. I couldn't find any, let alone lift a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well. Okay, yep, so someone knew about the safe. Okay, killer's goal and the wiped fingerprints. Why does this happen in my office? What was the killer after? Okay, I mean, these paint that there's something happening here. I believe I figured out what the murderer was after.
Well, what is it, sir?
The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. I wonder if knowing that the motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other pieces of information can tell me about this crime. The culprit tried to open my safe. Was the killer's motive theft? There was a struggle as well. Connect them. There's a possibility that the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer.
Oh, you mean like it could have been from when the killer tried to find something, sir?
Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna shelve files like you've never seen before, even at a library.
Sure. Oh, so this file goes here, or that book goes there.
Sure know a lot about where things go. This might be in Mr. Edgeworth's office.
Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal, okay? Done. Oh, okay, that's a lot of bloody handprints. I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. Okay, well, there's 2 sets of handprints. There is a bullet hole right here. This is where the bullet lodged herself after it went through the victim, huh? Oh, he was shot while he was on the ground. There's clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole. What do you mean, sir? You don't see. Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up.
Or if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir.
That would be illogical. The victim leaned against this shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot.
That means... Wait, what does that mean, sir?
It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. In any case, just gonna take a little dig at you there. I believe the order of the files is a bit off.
I mean, I put them back in the wrong order just now. Hey, actually, the labels on the files are wrong, sir.
Oh?
Yeah. You see how the files that were shot begin with the number 0?
Actually, the way they're organized now is the correct order. They are exactly as I see them in my mind's eye.
But the numbers are all out of order.
But from this, we know that the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. Aha, so that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you just did, detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we found out. Okay, so there we go. So that makes more sense how they were shot.
You think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to how it was before it was moved?
Finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. Did we just pick him up? Kind of looks like we decapitated this poor guy too. Gumshoe, what did you do? It's like, Gumshoe, you've gone way too far. I said prop the body up. He's just been decapitated. Wait, why does it say Gumshoe upside down on the other files? Gumshoe, what have you done? First you killed the man, then you decapitate him.
What is that? Why does it say Gumshoe on there in blood? I say that's some incredibly incriminating evidence.
Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed.
No, wait. There's got to be some mistake.
It appears that one of my files was stolen.
Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation?
This is what the killer was really after. He just doesn't care. Ah, one of my binders is missing. My precious, precious Pokemon cards I keep in my prosecutor's office.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do?
What I always do in court. I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique.
Oh, how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? I might need to go to court soon myself.
At first, I listen to the witness's testimony. If I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence, I open my organizer with RB and present the piece of contradictory evidence. Then something I simply use Y, but that's old news.
Well, it's not like there's going to be a flaw in their testimony every time, right?
Correct, and at those times I need to press the witness with LB. So as by pressing, I can draw out new information and new or modified testimony.
I think I get it, sir. I'll be sure to try this technique out during investigations, too.
Very well. I'll even show you how it's done. Now, watch carefully. Mr. Portsman's logic.
Detective Gumshoe. He stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Furthermore, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. Next to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. Believe by his final words that he will be brought to justice.
You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer.
I can hear Jim's voice. He's calling for his killer's arrest.
Okay, so now we gotta go through it. We have press and present. You know, there's something I've been meaning to ask.
Huh? What is it?
Why do you call the victim Jim? When clearly his name is Buddy Fate.
Isn't it obvious? Jim is the perfect name for my companion. Jackson Jim. Do the two names go together like peanut butter and jelly?
No, not really. That's when you move Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. Press it. Hold it. Why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing?
His body was getting in his way. You have to mess up your bookshelf somehow, right? Anyway.
Thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. Yeah, but the letters, if he moved the body, his body was covering the letters after it was moved. I think I present this. I can't help but find it odd.
Excuse me?
Odd that a fellow prosecutor will be brought down by the power of his own office.
What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking. I get it. Ha ha ha.
You still not see it? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file.
What? That's impossible.
What's impossible, Mr. Portsman?
Nothing.
The files in that bookshelf are all about a certain case. If it's DL6 again, I'm gonna lose my mind. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines.
It's possible they could have been taking the file before committing the murder.
I think it's pretty obvious the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters in the detective's name where the file should be as proof.
Which means what exactly? What does it make this dying message?
It makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene.
Brilliant. Absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold.
I was wondering why he was wearing a medal.
Humor me for a second. Who has the key to this office?
That would be me. Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. Let me just show you the t-shirt I'm wearing.
Yeah, it's a nice designer brand I've got here, Gucci. Let me just flash my pecs again. Well, I was thinking, did you know that there is one other person with a key to this office?
One other person?
Hey, you there.
Yes, sir. What is it, sir?
Would you be kindly fetch and escort that young lady here for me? I believe she needs no introduction. I've called upon Miss Maggie Bird, a member of security.
We haven't seen her in a while. Detective Gumshoe, sir.
Maggie.
I see. And your point is?
My point is that she could very well have used it. By it, I mean the master key, which could open all the office doors in this building.
What?
You are not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe. And the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird.
How dare you? I would never sneak into someone's room.
That's right. I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me. That's right, I did it.
No, Gumshoe. Man likes to flap, like just show his shirt.
That girl's the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason.
Oh, he's struggling with his coat. We just leave him here. Oh, curse these damn fangled sleeves. I just can't get it off.
It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. We have Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door. That leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message.
So you're saying she used the master key? Okay, its use is controlled by security staff.
The flow of a good match always changes during a rally.
Okay, he's like a sportsman. He doesn't want to lose.
It's all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially for an athlete like
me. What's it? Jock sportsman. I'm trying to think what the pun is, because there usually is some kind of pun. He's a jock sportsman. Okay. There we go. I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 a.m., sir. What do you mean by missing? As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Portsman, I believe this to be an important piece of testimony, don't you?
If that's the case, I'd like to know why you have the master key now.
I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir.
A likely story. Was you proof that the key was stolen to begin with?
From the messed up shelves to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery. Each prosecutor, only they know of them. Okay, yeah, so no one knows about the safe. It has to be a prosecutor. That's it.
Objection!
We gotcha. Do you wish to continue insisting that Miss Bird was set and stealing something?
Why not? It's the truth after all.
That may be, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe. The existence of which is only privy to prosecutors.
She could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down.
I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. What's wrong, prosecutor? You have a different suspect in mind now.
Aye. Curses, why? What made you?
What's with the angry face all of a sudden?
It's all my fault.
What do you mean?
It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes.
What'd you just say?
We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. So I told him. I filled him in on the secret safes.
That means?
Yeah, I know. I'd only just told him too. Obviously it was wrong of me to tell him. Still can't quite believe it, but the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim.
Now he's claiming the victim was the thief.
And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you? Miss Maggie Bird.
Excuse me?
It was Jim who stole the master key. Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him.
Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief?
I don't want to admit it. It's the only way for everything else to make sense.
Has he no honor? We still haven't addressed the fact that, hey, I kind of met the killer in my office later.
Man, I think we're done here. This investigation waits for no man. You people be so kind as to see yourselves out.
You can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office.
Ah, but I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You're all suspects to varying degrees and therefore ineligible to run this show.
March 14th, 4:18 a.m. Prosecutor's building, 12th floor, hallway. What is with that prosecutor? Can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Oh, really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door. Begin investigation. Okay, we get another one. The sprites are so good. I kind of love like the slightly different style I have for the overworld. It's like it's slightly more condensed, but it's still really cute. Hello, hello? It's the missing zero series file, sir. No doubt about it. The bloody letters mark it clear as day. There seems to be a few pages missing. A thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind. What are these zero files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly. It's just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine. Oh. They belong to the high prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were.
And you better make sure you keep them in good nick, my prodigy. Because if something were to happen to the files, then something will happen to you.
Von Carmen, no! That means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. There's just a basketball court set up. Okay, that doesn't seem that professional. What is a basketball doing here? This is Mr. Portsmouth, prized possession, sir. Here, he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. Not a single one of these sports is suitable to be played in a hallway. So when did you discover that the master key was missing? By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 a.m., sir. And I noticed it was back at around 2:30 a.m. It was just sitting there on the ledge, where the security room's reception window is. But I'm sure that between those two times, it was not just gone, but stolen, sir. Okay, the murder was committed between those times. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had used it on that I left it sitting out on the ledge. To use the master key. Hey, why did you use the master key? Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. Oh. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? That's right, I just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsmouth, sir. What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird, quickly. It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsmouth had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the master key to him. No way. It's against regulations to loan the master key out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsmouth to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then, what happened after that? Well, he called for me to come close up to his office. He called for me to come close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 a.m., I think. So, in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight. Room 1203, I take it this is Mr. Portsmouth's office. Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir. Oh, that reminds me. Mr. Portsmouth had actually wanted room 1202 really badly. But since you are already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him next door, sir. So why was Mr. Portsmouth so particular about getting room 1202? I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like this. Like his birthday is December 2nd. I mean, that makes sense. Yep, that's gotta be it. I can't think of another reason why. Well, case closed, gang. He's innocent. 1202, these 4 numbers on the number plate alone proclaim this to be my office. Whoops. Hey, these number plates slide right out, sir. You have to be able to take the plane off when a room becomes vacant, you know. Although, the idea that it can be so easily removed is kind of... Is there a world where, like, the doors were changed? Okay. The number plates were swapped, right? Maggie didn't notice because it's late at night. The basketball hoop had been moved to Edgeworth's office, and she unknowingly let him in. That's what's going on here. Okay. Now to spend the next hour to see if we're correct. Miss Bird, did you know that I'm a prosecutor in this building? That's a prosecutor's badge, isn't it? It proves that you're really a prosecutor. They said it, not me. Okay, the master key was stolen, but it got used as well. put these together. Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. What? No way, pal. I mean, sir. You said that you locked up Mr. Portsman's office at around 1:30 a.m., correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time. Wow, none gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. I totally forgotten all about that, but thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right, it was around that very time I realized the master key was missing. And? Well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. And you couldn't have told us this when you were being suspected of committing the murder. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hadn't been locked up properly. Okay, alright, that's pretty unfortunate. She's not the best security guard, is she? There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is this door locked tight? Oh, you know you're right. Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door? I am certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsman noticed it himself that I hadn't. Which means, what, sir? Yeah, it means that he actually does have the key to his office. But the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. Yeah, the prints on the doorknob. Prints on the doorknob will tell us everything. Hey you, pal. Do us a favor and see what you can lift from this, okay? Sir, I have found only Mr. Portsman and Mr. Fate's prints on this doorknob. Only 2 people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive. Huh? I'm lost, sir. Thinking logically, a certain other person's prints should be on this knob as well.
Take that!
Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? You mean? Yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. Miss Bird says she unlocked this door, but her prints were not found on the doorknob. Huh? What have we here? Oh, I still have inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. My God! That's a World Series basketball! It's gotta be this. What is this? Looks like a scrap of paper. I brought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone. But it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later. Okay, that's pretty important. Oh, it's been moved as well. Look at that. Position of the hoop is definitely unnatural. Better take note of this. Okay, so yeah, we know what he's done. I think we figured it out. Investigation complete. He's got a big smile considering like his friend is just murdered there. We know, Mr. Jacques Sportsman, that you are the guilty party in this case.
Aha! Who'd have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right?
Don't you dare say his name.
But there was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? Do it, Edgeworth, my boy. Let the hate flow through you, Edgeworth. Win this case in precisely 3 minutes and uphold the family name.
On camera, no!
I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how, may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got the work to do, so we're done here.
I believe you were able to open my office door, with the master key, no less.
Wait, hold on a second. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know.
Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. That's right. You used your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key.
Maggie Bird.
Take that!
You had asked Miss Bird to open your own office door for you, yes?
Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know?
The room you had Miss Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What?
You have quite the imagination.
I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir.
How do you suppose I did that?
By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right, they do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you used one other thing to give a very strong impression. That the door she was opening was yours, and not in fact mine. It was the basketball hoop, which had been moved.
Take that!
What? The basketball hoop, sir? It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building. Which is why I left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor.
Ah!
That's very true, sir. Because there was a basketball hoop sitting there.
Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me.
Okay, but his door wasn't opened. Miss Bird says she's unlocked this door, but her prints were not found on the doorknob.
Objection!
We got him. I had your door dusted for prints.
My door? How? What for? But I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time.
Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her prints should naturally be on the doorknob she touched.
Ah!
Further, all of the prints in my office door's knob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it.
But it doesn't change the fact that I was in my room the entire time.
Is that really a fact, or is it fiction?
Hey, would I lie to you?
I have here proof that you were not in your room the entire time as you claim. Found under the door for the absent Portsman.
Take that!
This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman.
A note?
It was left under your door. Did you not notice? And right here it says, but you're out. So, then, where were you and what were you doing?
Ah!
Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Fate to silence him. I had the misfortune of return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said when you had the gun to my back. No one gets away with committing murder in my office.
I really just should have killed you in retrospect.
And just what's so funny, pal?
Well, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that knob down as well. I'm a little obsessive-compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had touched, which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense only Jim and my own prints would be on there.
Okay. I don't think he understands how that works. You can't wipe a doorknob and, be selective with whose fingerprints you remove.
But yes, for you see, Edgeworth, Mr. Portsman sent the doorknob to the chemical factory ahead of time. He had the fingerprints burned off the doorknob. But karma, no. Memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 a.m., correct? It was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. At exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi.
Mr. Edgeworth, sir, I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys down in criminal affairs said they saw him at around 2 a.m.
You see?
If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me cast doubt in his alibi? Mr. Portsman's alibi, the intruder I met could not have been Mr. Portsman. Then who could it have been? Was Fate involved in it? I would have thought he was just dead because he was shot. But did he try to protect him? I mean, it's got to be that, and then files in disarray? Try connect. Evidence points to the shelves being disturbed once before and once after the murder. But who is to say that the person who did it the second time is the same as the first? Which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Another visitor. Maybe the victim and his killer weren't the only visitors to my office tonight. Another handgun, another visitor. Where are we going with this? I don't think there is, though. If indeed there were two culprits. Then that resolves the contradiction behind our murder weapon. Despite the fact that there are 2 bullets here in this room. The murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once. Even the possibility that the other bullet was fired from the other visitor's gun. Furthermore, if we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back.
Objection!
Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case.
What do you mean?
The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, 2 culprits stole into my office tonight. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office.
Objection! Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know.
If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Yeah, in return to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me. Which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then, just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in with his own partner? Mr. Fate. Why did Mr. Fate come into your room, sir? He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess. Oh, because he was supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought it was odd, so we came into this office to check it out. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Fate probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Fate's gun from him, and then... This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left a fake dying message behind. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so... They stole the master key from the security guard's room. And then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This is the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. Stolen all 0 file, right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. The person I met was just a thief, and was not in fact Mr. Fate's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant. Because we know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit.
The person you met really was just a plain old thief. And why is that person not your main suspect? That is, your theory is correct. That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. It might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at criminal affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left.
Portsman's alibi, part 2. What of the evidence he brought?
Everything's related to yesterday's case, just 2 items, a gun and a pendant.
Okay, that's important info. A gun and a pendant.
Yeah, this gun, which was the murder weapon. This pendant, which belonged to the victim.
And why were you taking him to criminal affairs?
There was something in a past case file I wanted to compare these two to. All this has nothing to do with the case right now.
But the note specifies 3. You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me.
What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you.
Well, here's a piece I think you should read. Ah, it says that Mr. Fate was bringing 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman.
I can't believe we get tripped up by simple arithmetic.
Where is the missing piece of evidence?
Hey, it's
Detective Gumshoe. You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. Hey, what's this? You had this on him, sir. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. Well, why would he hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to the person himself as the real killer. It's the KG-8 incident. Okay. There's just blood on it. Ah, that's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. You mean, this might be Detective Fate's blood?
No! You've got it all wrong!
Now will you tell us, when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video? Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was that the moment of his death? Did Detective Fate have this videotape on his personage when you killed him?
You know very well there's no way to prove that.
And even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints?
Ah!
If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Fate.
No, impossible, I'm...
Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Fate, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be a real solid, sir. Blood work came back, and it was definitely Mr. Fate's blood in there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Fate's fingerprints as well. Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. This is just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. Oh, well. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. What? And Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy. I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance to this piece of evidence. My prosecutor's badge. That proves I am a prosecutor. Take that! Oh, sir. I don't think there's any mystery left to that piece. You might be right there. think you've solved this case already, Mr. Edgeworth. The only thing left that we still don't know about is maybe this. Oh, yeah, the O-Series file! Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Yes? I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It's the mark of the raven. A three-legged raven. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everyone's talking about. Yes, it is the mark of the great thief. Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The theft is always performed in silence, and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although it has been a while since the Yatagarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's written on the back. What? Let me see. It's a location of where the thief put the stolen files. So the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu. Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Looking back, can't say I didn't see these events coming. But they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. Case closed.
Yes, for you see, Edgeworth, it was I that was the Yatagarasu. I needed to take up a side hobby to steal evidence that I could implant on my victims.
No. No! No!